Hey guys, what's going on? So I've got, thanks in part to Santos putting up 2 of my biggest videos on his channel, I've got something like 700 or 800 new subscribers. I mean, in the last 2-3 weeks. So for everybody who's new but has seen my astrotheology, I just wanted to share a couple things. So the first thing that I wanted to share is that the religious people don't like what I have to say, but none of them ever say anything publicly about it. You would think that I would be getting all sorts of hate. You would think that. I would think that. And maybe I am. And maybe people are doing things like squatting on my domain and making fake Twitter profiles of me or things of that nature. I just laugh it off. But nobody calls it out because the information I provide is true. And it makes sense. It makes more sense. So what the religious people have done is they have taken the most beautiful story. It is the hero's journey, as Joseph Campbell puts it, of the sun going through the 12 zodiac signs, where it will rise to be king in Cancer and Leo. Cancer, the summer solstice, when it's at its height, the longest day of the year. Leo, the sun rules over Leo. Then it will be judged, betrayed, and it will rise again. Everybody goes through the hero's journey. The story of Christ, aside from the fact that Christ is the sacred oil that travels up your spine and explodes in your pineal gland, we are all Christ. We are all sons of God. And what do I mean by that? What do I mean by that? I talk about this in my most important video I'll ever make, if you guys search it. God is infinite. And if you want to have a conversation with a religious person, this is what you do. They will tell you God is infinite. He's omnipresent, he's omniscient, all that stuff. But they'll tell you he's infinite too. So your very first question should be, if God is infinite, how can anything exist outside the infinite? And when they don't have an answer for you, you go on and tell them that we are all a part of God. And when you realize that we're all a part of God, you realize that you're immortal. You realize that you're eternal. You don't need salvation from the religion. See, people who get baptized, born again, get submerged underwater, give their life up to Christ, they have this warm, fuzzy feeling to it. That is, over time, it's like new crush, basically. You know, you get the butterflies and everything. But over time, it turns into fear of not pleasing God, fear of failing, fear of not living up to the perfection that is demanded, fear of sin. The devil made me do it. I talk against all that stuff. We are all a part of God. Here's the thing. God is eternal and infinite. The infinite mind created everything that we see here. Everything that we see here. And things that we can't see, that are on the micro and the macro level. The infinite mind created everything, or had the idea for everything. So the question becomes, how does God, who is infinite, experience something new? And the answer is it can't, because it is everything. It is literally everything. You want to talk about a pack of cigarettes being part of God? Sounds crazy, right? Well, string theory tells you that that pack of cigarettes is made up of energy. All energy has one source. We are all one. So how does God experience something new? How? The only explanation for why we exist in human form is because a part of our soul breaks off of God, comes to earth in a physical body with a blank slate, and we learn everything that God has created through the laws of karma and dharma, mathematics, the universal laws, things of that nature. Whatever you specialize in, you learn everything. This is all a part of God. That is the only way that it exists. That is the only way that it happens. God cannot experience anything new. More to that point, Evil has to exist. Evil has to exist because without evil, there's nothing for good to reflect upon. There's nothing for good to mirror in order for it to be called good. If they explain this in the Bible when you talk about the revolt of Lucifer, and when you talk about the Bible, and you're talking about God, what did he create? He created the angels first, right? He created the angels. And all they did was blow trumpets and sing his praise all day. And what happened? He got fucking bored. So he created humanity that has the potential for good or evil. They both have to exist. Now, when you find out that you're a part of God and you don't need religion, it is a very freeing feeling. You're no longer tied and tethered to the concept of hell. I talked about Lucifer, Baphomet, all that stuff. You're no longer tethered to that stuff. You no longer have to worry about it. And what they've done is they've taken the most beautiful story, the son's hero's journey, and they've made a religion out of it, and they made you believe it literally. And that's what my work talks against. That's what my work talks against. They make you fear things, like if you're a homosexual, if you're going to hell. Hell doesn't exist. Hell is winter. Watch my other videos. But here's the thing about homosexuals, too, is that during the time that the Jews were writing the Old Testament, and isn't it interesting that they call themselves the chosen people when they wrote the Bible, right? They wrote the New and the Old Testament. Interesting, right? So the Jews called themselves the chosen people. And at the time that they were writing the Old Testament, the Greeks were very much a civilization at that same time period. And they were Jews that lived in Greece that spoke in Red and Greek, that translated the Bible. They were called Hellenistic Jews. And what you'll find is that Leviticus 18:22 and the other passage in Leviticus that condemns homosexuality, the original Greek word for it was arsenokotai, which means boy molester. In fact, in 1534, you had Martin Luther's original German Bible. They used the word Nabenschonder. Nabenschonder is boy molester. The original words were boy molesters. That's what it was. It had nothing to do. So when you realize there's nothing to fear, you are a part of God. You are a part of God experiencing a human form. But you're just going to go back to source after. There is no punishment. This is not how this works. Punishment doesn't even work. The idea of hell is silly. Because the idea of hell is a burning fire. Well, you can't sense pain or anything without nerve endings or neurons. And when you shed your neurons in your brain and your nerve endings and you become a spirit, how are you going to sense pain? There are people called CIPA patients, CIPA. They have chronic insensitivity to pain. These are people who do not feel pain. These are people who have to always check themselves because if they left their hand on the stove, they wouldn't feel it. And it's very dangerous. But you don't have to worry about any of that. So my work, what I do is I talk about astrotheology and how it's encoded throughout the Bible. I talk about how it's encoded in every other ancient text, and that's why I work so hard to get you guys these videos. And the other thing that I talk about is there's nothing to fear. That we are all part of God. We are all experiencing ourselves subjectively, but we are all from source. We are all one. But even the things like the steering wheel or this lighter, for example, that you think is matter and physical material is not actually physical material. Atoms are 99.99999% empty space. And what's left of it is not actually matter either. They're called eigenvalues in a wave equation, which is a fun way of saying it's the mathematical probability of actually observing something. Without going too deep into quantum physics, because I will, what we think is matter and real is not actually real. It's just a big illusion that we're here. And the point of our experience is to do two things. Number one is to find our gift, because we all have a gift. We all just have to find it. And then the purpose, once you find the gift, is to give it away. And that's what I do. That's what I'm trying to do with all my work, with my videos and everything. I've got some really cool things coming up in the future. But I just wanted a brief introduction to all the new people and let you know what I'm all about. Many of you have seen my What is God part of the presentation on Santos's channel. I would love for somebody to write on my channel that they would like to debate me, but this is never happening because nobody ever does. Because it's kind of hard to argue things that make sense. So just wanted to say thank you to all of you who are new. Thank you for all of you who usually hang out and watch this. And I'll talk to you soon.